Welcome back to the official Detroit Pistons podcast. So we have an amazing episode today with Jarrett Jack. But one thing I want to say is that we did film this prior to our first game, so you're not going to hear much about that. We didn't ask any questions about that. But what you will get, hopefully you'll all find to be amazing. It was great. It's an episode that I think we're all going to remember for a very long time. So let's get into the episode.
What is the difference between college and the pro? In college, you got teammates. Up here, you got coworkers.
Wait, can I say?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Front and center. This is all about you.
Oh, all right. That's gonna be good and bad. All right. Get this thing cracking.
Yeah.
I act like I'm drinking something.
You want something to drink?
Nah, I'm smooth.
You good?
Yeah. Even though it makes a better conversation. But it's all right.
Yeah.
That's another podcast.
Next time we got you. Next time we gonna have like options for you.
Nah,
Welcome back to the official Detroit Pistons podcast. I'm Major, and today we have Georgia Tech alum, 13-year NBA vet, and most recently Pistons assistant coach, rejoining Monty Williams on the sidelines, Jarrett Jack. What's up, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So how's Detroit treating you? How
Man,
are you?
Great. You know, been receiving a lot of love around the city, a lot of support for the team. You know, it's different me getting familiar with Detroit because when I played, except for like my last 2 years, you always played in Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
And then the team stayed in Birmingham. So actually coming to Detroit, the actual city, is still relatively new for me. But and being around it and getting familiar with it, I'm like calling it home. I'm like, oh man, Detroit.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah, Detroit got some stuff to it, man. You got to get here to see it, though.
Yeah. You know, I loved Auburn Hills, but I think Detroit just brings a whole different, like, you really feel the heart of the city here.
For sure. And when I first was getting here and getting comfortable, so to speak, baseball team had their stuff going on. You could feel the energy of what the football team did last year.
Yeah.
And I believe you could feel the energy of just the new staff and, you know, anxious for the unknown, if you will, in regards to bringing coach here and getting some guys back healthy and seeing what could, you know, happen in the upcoming season.
For sure. So this is your second stop coaching.
Yes.
Can you tell me what's the difference between like the Phoenix time versus the Detroit time? I know you're only a few months in, a little bit over a few months, but what would you say is the differences so far?
I don't know if there's a difference just being in different locations yet. I'm going into my third year of coaching. I can maybe give you what the difference is approaching maybe a practice day or a game day.
For sure.
From being a former player to now being a coach.
Okay.
You know, it's just so many nuances, so many boxes that you probably have to check being a coach. Rather than being a player, you probably get the game plan, I got to execute it. You know, there might be some details in there here and there, but as a coach, man, you're managing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then you actually have the game. So prior to that, man, your day is a lot longer than what yours would be as a player.
Right. So I know for a lot of people, when a new regime comes in, new coach staff, they see all of the assistant coaches come, but a lot of people probably don't know that dynamic of like every assistant coach doesn't do exactly the same job. What would you say your role within that staff is?
You know, Coach Mont doesn't like specify like, yo, you do this, right? He's a big proponent of, he wants to create leaders, and within where you deem your skill set, act on it. And I know for me, I can bridge a lot of the gap with guys who have played in this league. Right. I was fortunate enough to play a long time. I played point guard, and I started some. I came off the bench some. I played combo guard a little bit. So just those experiences, for me, I feel like I can relay. And I've been around Coach Mont for 2 stops as a player and now as a coach. Like, he was my assistant coach when I first got into the league in Portland. Then he was my head coach when they actually traded for me in New Orleans. So I believe translating maybe some of his messages and being able to put it in terms where the guys are like, oh, that's what he meant. And I'm like, yeah, bro, he just might have said it maybe different. I just been around him long enough. I can kind of give you a feel a little bit.
So was it easy, like, step going from player to coach, knowing that you had Mont with you?
Being honest, man, not playing anymore wasn't easy at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That part of my life, basketball as a player just did so much for me. It was something I just loved to do. It was something when I was having a rough day, it was an outlet for me. It was something collective I can go do with my friends. It could, so many parts of my day, whether they're going good, bad, or in the middle, I could be supported by basketball in a sense. And now being a coach, it's more a mental thing. You kind of think and strategize and, try to be strategic in how you would message things to different people to get across this whole thing we're trying to have that's going to make everybody feel included. But being around Coach Monty, somebody I know who, number one, cares so much for these guys. Mm-hmm. I don't even like saying cares so much for the players because he probably cares more about the person than
you can feel it.
Yeah, what we actually like here is like, yo, we in the league. Like, what are we really even talking about? Like, I'm hoping you're cool outside of these 2 hours that we get to see each other. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, man, when he was my coach in New Orleans, which was however many years ago prior to him getting in Phoenix, he was phenomenal then. Seeing him now when I was with him in Phoenix and some of the stuff he was drawing up, I was like, dude is off the charts. And now with the guys coming here, man, I was excited for what we know of their skill sets and then incorporating with some of his play calling, man. I think the future is very bright here.
Yeah. One thing from the outside looking in, it just seems like he cares. He cares a lot about the development. Not like you said, on the court, but also off the court. So, but from your perspective, seeing him, he was a coach for you, and now you coach alongside him. What makes him such a good coach?
I think a number of things. I think it's just not basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that kind of like run through a wall thing people talk about?
Yeah.
I think when something may happen with you and you might get a phone call and it's like, yo, this coach. Nah, man, I ain't really talking about that. I'm talking about how you doing.
Right.
And how's the little one? And everything. I heard you might be having a tough time. Like if you do or don't want to talk about it, just know, this basketball stuff is like secondary.
It's family.
Yeah. Like we not on that. We not putting your life ahead of your life needs in front of this basketball stuff. You know what I'm saying? Your life needs goes before it, actually. You know what I mean? And it's a sense of, he walks in gratitude, sense of togetherness. Doesn't want any credit for any of this. You know what I mean? Like, very much selfless. And when you're around somebody like that, and they're pushing you and they want you to lead only for you to be able to reach your potential, what he sees for you as a basketball player and as a person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he got me. I got in the league when I was 20. He told me straight off, you gonna coach. I'm like, what? I just got in the league. Like, what are you talking about? He like, nah.
He saw it in you.
Yeah, he like, nah, you gonna coach. And me and him have like a crazy, like, what do they call it? Like 360 degree of separation, because we're both from the same area back in Maryland. Mm-hmm. My dad used to run the rec in the neighborhood. And I remember one day they dropped me off from school, and I was a shorty at this time. My dad took me in a gym. He's like, you see that man over there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, Dad, that's Monty Williams. He going to Notre Dame. I'm like, for real? There's people around here that go to college? Like, I never. He's like, yeah, you going to play basketball? I'm like, oh, okay. So we crossed paths when I was super young, and then when I get drafted, right, he's on the staff. And I'm like, yo, I met you and I saw you a long time ago. And he was like, and I told him who my dad was, and he was like blown away.
So you come in the league, you're 20, he tells you you're going to be a coach. Did you know at that moment, like, once I retire, after these 13 years, that's what I'm going to do next? Or when did that come to your mind? Like, coaching is a realistic opportunity for me.
I thought he was crazy. I laughed him off first time he told me that. I think when you're young, right, you live so much in the moment, and just
You're gonna play forever.
Yeah, or just you might just be thinking about whatever you're dealing with at that particular day, that particular time. And I'm trying to get nice at being in the league. I'm not thinking about no clipboard and all that. Yeah. But just over the course, I just kept hearing people say it, whether it's media or guys I played with, or when I was was an older veteran in the league, and guys just would be like, yo, I think you'd be all right if you ever. And I kept hearing, I'm like, well, maybe. I mean, basketball is what I love, but I think I love helping people more than that. I think basketball is just the thing that's the constant, maybe, that kind of groups a bunch of people that I rock with all together. But I'm just intrigued by the game. I'm intrigued by, like, I told Coach Monty, like, I said, Coach, I hope you don't think I'm being normal, but I watch him like a hawk. I want to see everything. I love to problem solve. I love when I'm interested in something that people seem to have the answers and I don't know them. I want to learn. Yeah. I like being led, and to potentially be a leader one day, I think you have to be able to fall in line too.
Yeah. Well, you got a little bit of the opportunity coaching the summer league team.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Man, it was great. It was it's the closest you'll ever get to playing. At least for me, right? You have a way of, not firsthand, but almost being able to affect the ball game. What are you reading? What are you saying? What are you surveying that maybe you could implement on the spot that could help change the trajectory of how the game is going, good or bad? Mm-hmm. Right? You got this timeout with, I got 40 seconds to draw up something that might be a hole in the defense, something that can be a momentum changer. And I can point my guys in the right direction, and then works, cool. If it doesn't, take inventory. And then you're trying to aid and assist 15 to 18 guys and give them an opportunity bigger or better than when they came here, all in like a month's time.
Yeah, and Summer League is a young players game. Yeah. So was there anything that surprised you about the young players you were coaching?
Man, just they wanted to listen. They was eager to learn, play hard, wanted to play together. Typically, man, when you get to summer league, like, I got to do my thing so I can get a better position. And the thing I tried to stress to them is, like, if we do it together, we all can walk out of here potentially, with opportunities. But even bigger than that, why not y'all all walk out of here with 15 new friends? 15 new people trying to strive for something, 15 people that you're working together with. Like, I have a saying that I say all the time, like, what is the difference between college and the pros? In college, you got teammates. Up here, you got coworkers. You feel me? It's different. In college, we literally do everything together because we have to. Or we had to. This is before this whole NIL thing. You got dudes walking around $1 million now, but I'm saying,
different day.
Different ball game, right? But I'm saying, like, when I was in college, we got to go eat together because me and you got $8 together. And we're going to go split it, or we live together, we practice together, we travel together.
It's the thing of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, you got to figure this out.
Our families. I remember I was fortunate enough to play in the Final Four and National Championship when I was in college. And the best memories I had were, the playing was cool, but the best memories were after the game, because you kind of play on the weekend. You'll play like a game Friday, Sunday. You wait out the week, and then you'll play again the next round. Yeah. And that week, calling my mom, and I'm like, me and such's mom, they're gonna come stay at our house, and we're gonna pull. And it was like this collective of people just coming together just to support, and they scraping and doing whatever they had. Or we're gonna stay at their house. And then we're gonna bring everybody, and we're gonna drive down. And I was like, look at this. Just the support and all these people coming together. And when you run out and you see all these, I'm like, I know what y'all did to get here. Yeah. The game is cool. I know what all y'all people did to get here. That's what, like, warmed my heart more than anything.
But I feel like around the league, you've kind of got a reputation of being a connector. Like, whether you're in college or whether you're a pro, like, you are able to connect with young vets, everyone. Yeah. And maintain those relationships. Well, why is that?
I just care about people, bro. I just care about people.
Yeah, and one thing that you see is that people care back about you.
But I also know what it's like when people don't care about you, right? Because it's a tough business. A lot of people don't know it. And when I talk about it, I get emotional a lot, but a lot of people don't know it. They see all this money we get. They don't understand, like, it's a lonely lifestyle at times. And we don't have people like Coach Monty who care about you. And sometimes it can seem overbearing, like, man, my coach always on my back or whatever, but not only does he coach it, he care about you, he been through it, he played. You know, a lot of us be 20 years old and don't have the family structure there to support you when you're having a rough day. You don't have the friend system to support you when things ain't always all right. But people think it's all right because it's aid and assist, because monetarily we're sufficient. That's not always what's gonna make the boat even. You know what I'm saying? So when I see young dudes come in the league, whether they got it or not, man, I'm gonna try to give what I've learned over the course of my time, that maybe I can help assist in this transition. It's not always roses and rainbows, bro. It's not. You know what I mean? A lot of them, before they can find themselves, they lose themselves in this thing. Mm-hmm. And it's easy, right? You have everything at your disposal all the time, you know? And if I could grab 9 of them, I would. I try to grab some, and there's some that we just have relationships that just are just natural. And now I'm so proud of them dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's ones that maybe don't speak. I'm just so proud of them. People be like, man, what did you say? Man, nah. That credit ain't about me. All of them had all that already. I might have opened some perspectives and gave some different vantage points, but y'all been had all that because somebody did it for me. I didn't come in here knowing everything or not knowing much at all, being honest. But I listened to somebody grab me, and I felt like to pay the game for it, that's what you do. Pay society for it, that's what you do.
Everybody needs a bit of a guide coming into this.
But why not, man? Like, you don't really know what a lot of people are about or what they got going on. We know we all come into practice and we wear the same jersey. That's what we know. And you outside of this, you don't know what people are dealing with. So if I could be a ear for a conversation, or if I can give you some advice, whereas, nah, bro, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I did it, man. I'm telling you that's not what to do. I'm from over there too, bro. Don't go over there. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you might resist it a little bit. I did. I ain't listened to every single thing. But then be like, yo, you was right, bro. I'm like, bro, it's only love, bro. I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do about any of this. But the thing is, when you see the next you gonna look at him like this, nope. You know what I mean? And that's the part that's gonna be gratifying for me. It's not about compliments and all this other stuff. It's cool. I appreciate it. Grab the next one. That's all it is.
You know, one of my favorite quotes from you is
I got quotes?
You got quotes.
Okay.
Quotes. You said one time that your goal is just to be an effective player of a game. Like, I think they were trying to lead you down, saying more like, what do you want to do? You're starting, if you're on the bench, you just, I just want to be an effective part of the game. How does that transition into, and I mean, you talked a lot about it, but how does that transition into like coaching? Like still being that effective part of the game?
I think that's what, like, just being impactful, right? There are a lot of talented people playing this sport. Not all of them are impactful. how can you bring your individual talent, the things you were blessed with, individually be impactful, but then under what we're doing as a team, make the team collectively more impactful? If what you're doing always in the midst of your talent, but we always lose by 8, help be impactful. We've all seen talented people play, and you're like, okay, he's good. We've also seen some people who don't have the most talent. You're like, give me that dude. Yeah, talented dude's not. Give me that dude right here. I don't really know his name. It ain't a whole lot of glitz and glam to his, but he's impactful. You feel his presence. You feel his energy every time you walk in the gym, whether you on the sideline, in between the lines, whatever. I would much rather be impactful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to impact people. I want to impact their lives. I want to help impact them on the court, off the court. I want to listen to, I want to hear gems all day long. That's just what I want to do.
Sure. All right, so I'm going to transition a little bit.
All right.
Talk about training camp.
Okay.
We're in the midst of it right now. How's that been going for you? How's it been going for the team?
It's been great. You know, it's a learning curve. Obviously, it's maybe twofold, right? You have a lot of guys that are getting used to being in the NBA, one, and then two, you have to get used to an entirely new coach, entirely new language. Maybe the pace of things are a bit different. You have guys like 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪. Like, I think 𝗙𝗟𝗟 told me he played like 20 games last year. Like, you're gonna play 4 of those seasons in the next 6 months. It's different. I imagine your workouts here are different. You've probably gotten up more shots here than you've probably ever gotten up in your life. Probably. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, whatever, but like, just the design of this is different. The travel. We got another game tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, we leave right after the game. Yeah. Man, I couldn't go to. Yeah, I know. Welcome to the league. Like, it's a strenuous deal, man, and getting adjusted to that. But the guys in the midst of it, man, they've been doing great. They come here, show up ready to work. No excuses. Ready to tack on whatever's necessary for the day.
So how has 𝗙𝗟𝗟 transitioned so far?
Man, he's been great. And he's so hard on himself, and that's why I got to grab him and go, calm down. You're doing fine. You're actually ahead of probably where you're supposed to be. And for somebody who skipped college, essentially, I couldn't imagine if I skipped college and had to digest all of what was being thrown my way. And he's been awesome, running with the first team. If we told 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗪, man, you running with whoever, he'd be like, all right. You know?
Yeah.
Low maintenance kid, just want to come in and work. One of the most active players I've ever seen. And just keep stacking the small wins for him and understanding why these small wins in the grand scheme of things matter so much.
Another hot topic about training camp for us has been Cade in his return.
Yeah.
How has he looked for you? Especially knowing that he's probably taken a little bit more of a leadership role over the last few years.
I mean, he's a phenomenal player. You know, he's part of that new wave coming into the NBA, and for us, a lot of what we do is centered around his capability, right? His size and skill set, being able to score and see over defenses and make plays. You don't catch that often. And for him, getting his body back in the swing of things of, you know, the demands of the schedule, you know, that's what we're working on. But him at the helm of this thing, man, we're super excited.
One other person I want to talk to you about. So we had Stu on the first episode.
Oh,
this is episode 2. So
all right.
You were very important on the list. We had to get you in here. But he talked about his goals being NBA All-Defensive Team, eventually Defensive Player of the Year. From your perspective, what do you think he has to do to get there?
Right. I mean, Stu is a very versatile defender, disruptor for us. I think just understanding our concepts. like I said, once again, this is an entirely new defensive system that we're implementing. Stu being the heart and soul of who we are and what we do here, he's been able to maybe adapt to the learning curve probably one of the fastest. I think because those individual accolades are great, but if us as a team aren't performing well in the defensive end, I don't even know if those things are attainable. Right. So I think getting everybody all on one accord, maybe understanding the language, understanding the coverage and the concept that we're in and how to execute it, and then lastly finishing it with a rebound, which is one of Stu's fortes. Those things, and like I said before, when everybody eats, you can have these individual accolades that you're looking for, which are fine. Right. Like a lot of people want to shun it. What, you only want? No, that's fine. That's it's perfectly okay. That's a part of why we're in here working so hard and putting these long hours. And man, I want to get paid. Good, you should, for the work you put in and the sweat and all the details and what we're asking you to do. That should be one of the things that should be wrapped up into why you put yourself through all of this physical pain every day.
But that comes with team success.
Without question. Whatever you're looking for, you'll get more of it if the team has success. Whatever that is. Like, we don't put restraints on what your that is. No, it should be this. Oh, that's fine. That's personal to you. That's fine. Just know that if we are successful, you will get more of whatever you're thinking about.
So during Monty Williams' press conference, when they introduced him to the staff to Detroit, a lot of the staff had on Restore shirts, and we've seen it a few times. Mm. For you, what does that mean when you say Restore? You see Detroit Pistons Restore. What does that mean to you?
Well, Restore is bringing something back to where you believe it belongs or where it originally sat, right? And so if you're restoring something, that doesn't mean it's broken. It just may need to be touched up in some areas. And for us, I think where the Restore starts, discipline, accountability, and then from that, creating an identity. So with those three things probably being the foundation, I think a lot of other things are possible to sprout off that. And with this group that's eager to listen, works hard, talented, athletic, have size, smart, you attach all of those, but without those three things at the foundation, I think you limit yourself to a degree. Mm-hmm. But with us, those have been the things we've been leaning on, and I think that's why we've been seeing each day having a positive result.
In your mind, do you know what the identity of this team is? Or does it play itself out? Is it something that we got to play some games and then we'll see?
I think the ability to be good is, can you consistently do things well? When you have a young team, I think those are the looming questions that's around. And for us, like, everybody always talks about the process, right? Embrace the process. And the process isn't always glamorous, right? You're going to have 3 days that's cool and maybe a day that's not, and maybe 3 days that's not so cool. And why all those pieces within the process make sense, right? You never understand why these details make sense until maybe one of them bites you. Hey, man, coach told me about that, and now we may lose a game. But in the long and the grand scheme of things, it's a learning lesson in the field that you're like, nope, I remember that. It has my attention now, So I think those things, once we don't have to get bit, and now it's a level that we can sustain over the course of this marathon of a season, we're going to be a formidable opponent, man.
right, I do want to talk a little bit about just you growing up. Like, who were your basketball idols growing up? Is there anyone that you looked up to?
My basketball idols, Michael Jordan, of course. But like I was a person that if everybody was doing this, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So everybody loved Mike, of course, rightfully so. And they loved the Bulls. I was like, man, my favorite player is Penny Hardaway. You know, which it's not as left field as I'm making it seem, but if you were in the 90s, that is kind of left field.
Yeah.
Right. I was tall for my age at that point. I played point. For people that don't know, I'm big into sneakers, and Penny sneakers were the flyers or whatever. So it was kind of like something off kilter, and he was a phenomenal player.
Who were your vets in your locker room when you came in the league, 20 years old?
Z-Bo, Zach Randolph, Darius Miles, Juan Dixon. But in saying that, we had the youngest team in the league. We had a average age of 22 years old.
So you get what they're going through.
I totally do. Because there's some things like when you're only 3-4 years in the league, Theo Ratliff, Joe Prisbilla, those are also my vets also. But when you're young in your journey, there's only so much information you can give to said individual, right? Like, not to keep bigging them up, but like me and Coach Monty were talking randomly one day. I was like, you really want to know who my vet was in Portland? He was like, who? I was like, you? I think Coach Monty was like 34 at the time. So just finished playing, and now he's coaching. He's seen more than from a variety of angles, right? Coach Monty's team is with Charles Oakley, with the Knicks, Anthony Mason, dog. Like, and then he goes from there, and then he's teammates with, or he coached by Doc Rivers in Orlando. Next to T-Mac, Grant Hill. Go to the Spurs, eat round, Tim Dunk. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's different.
That's some experience.
Without question, different sides of it. As an assistant with the Spurs, man, won a championship. You know? Like, he's gone through different pathways of this thing. And then over the course of things that happen in his own life, you know what I mean? So he would pull me aside maybe when I was tripping a little bit and get me back in order, give me some game a little bit.
Were there any other coaches outside of him that you looked up to or still look up to?
Man,
today,
Nate McMillan, force of a coach. My first NBA experience had so much pride in just in basketball, pride in the position, pride in, you know, just young professionals trying to come up through the ranks. Coach Mon, of course, Mark Jackson, phenomenal. All these people whom I still speak to. Nate McMillan's son, Jamel, who is the head coach of the Motor City Cruise, which I'm excited about. So coach has been around. So, nah, man, but they very, very impactful people in my life.
Is there any thread that connects all of those coaches? Like, is there any like characteristic where you're like, this is why I connect, this is why I...
That they all possess in common, or just individually?
Yeah, in common.
One, I mean, weirdly enough, all of them are former players, right? All of them used to yell at me a lot. Nah, just messing around. But you know, they all push me, but not in a disrespectful sense. But it's like, yo, they demanded a lot from me. And for me, like I'm one of those guys, like you put a lot on my plate. I'm looking to, I want to problem solve. I want to figure these things out. Not just for me, but for my group. And all three of those guys in their own different ways, they did that for me.
All right, so we have 2 quick segments that we can let you go.
Okay.
First one is the timeless NBA moment. So I'm going to ask you a few questions just about, like, what were these moments for you in the NBA? So do you have a favorite NBA moment?
Just one?
Do you want to give how many you got?
Man. I think, like, being honest, like I really thought growing up, right? Like I grew up Maryland, DC area. And if you remember, like I'm 39. So like remember NBA on NBC that used to come on Sundays? Like I really thought like the NBA was like a TV show.
It didn't feel real?
It didn't, because it's like, I don't see these dudes around my neighborhood. I don't think I can go to the mall and I just bump into somebody. And if you did, we'd be like, you lying. There's no way you bumped into whoever, right? So I'm like, I thought everybody lived in California and they had these mansions and pools, and it was like a fictional place.
They show up once a week,
yeah,
play the game, then we out. I
thought it was like a fictional. What do you mean you saw Michael Jordan yesterday? Impossible, right? I really thought it was like a fictional place. So to be a part of it, like me and my brother now, he was like, yo, you know, you in the NBA, like it's still like surreal. Or the people we've been able to come across being in this business. My brother was the biggest Michael Jordan fan, and for me to know Mike to a degree, and my brother got to meet him, he's like, this is crazy. Yeah. Or my father, who's like, I can bring him around people who were his childhood heroes, and he's like, yo, man, that's Willis Reed. Like, God rest his soul. He got to meet him, and my father both went to Grambling, but he was like, this is crazy to me, you know? But going back to the NBA moments,
you do as a player or a fan?
I think my player's story is being a fan, actually. My godbrother was the biggest LA Lakers fan ever. So all I ever heard about, Lakers. So when I got to Portland and LA always had like this little rivalry thing. So I made it my business that whenever we played against the Lakers, I was going to do my thing. So I used to have great games against them. Great games. And then my third year, I got traded to Indiana, right? So I remember we're in Indy, we're playing the Lakers. And one of us is shooting a free throw. So normally the guards are around the three-point line. So I'm there about to run in if the ball misses or whatever. And I feel somebody's like standing beside me. So I'm like standing there about to box out or whatever. And this person says, don't be doing all that stuff you was doing when you was in Portland. And if you're a fan, know the voice, it was Kobe Bryant, right? And for me, why that's like a moment is because that was almost like he acknowledged my game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people Kobe hasn't said 2 words to. And granted, he didn't have to say 2 words to me, but he took notice. And I think we all, you know, in some way, shape, or fashion want acceptance from the greats, the legends of the game. And for me, being a young player in the league, my 3rd, 4th year, whatever, and for him, this kind of, you know, we kind of had that isolated moment. That was like, that was super dope.
What was your team growing up?
I didn't really have a team. I was you know, you a youngster, you like, man, I just like the players, and that's what I was. I mean, if I had to root for somebody, I was rooting for the Magic because of Penny Hardaway.
For sure. Okay. So, do you have a welcome to the NBA moment?
Welcome to the NBA moment. Oddly enough, it might be like by a coach. I remember I'm checking into the game. Mind you, this is like baggy clothes era when like you wearing super big warm up, super big whatever, snap pants.
Or before the suit era.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying I'm about to check into the game. Yeah. I'm saying everything is just real baggy or whatever. But as I'm checking in, and this is when we wore like, you got the warm up, you got the t-shirt. So I'm like taking and I ain't have my jersey tucked in. Scott Skiles, who was the coach of the other team, he said, hey, Rook, make sure you have your jersey tucked in before you come in the game. I'm like, what is wrong with him? I'm like, you know what I mean? But when I'm like, I know who Scott Skiles is, the hard-nosed point guard. I was like, all right, they'll be yelled at by. But what he was doing, he was being a vet in that moment. It wasn't like a show me up type situation. He actually was showing me accountability. Be ready to play. Don't come in here not ready to play. Be professional. So afterwards, after I was like, he tripping, I was like, I really wanted to go up to him and say, man, thank you.
Because you had your jersey tucked.
Yeah.
Right.
When you a youngster, you don't understand the importance of some things. Once again, I didn't know everything. So now, we got guys running the table, yo, tuck your jersey in. It just sends a message, presentation. You know what I mean? What if, small thing, you running in game, your jersey is until you get a delay game. What if we already have a delay game? Now it's a technical foul. We losing points because your jersey's not in. But that was something from that moment, I was like, okay.
All right, so this may be a little bit of a loaded question, but you've played with a lot of players still in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like memorable moments with like the Stephs, the Draymonds,
Steph Curry for sure.
the Kyries?
Steph Curry for sure. Madison Square Garden. I like to say this was the season when Steph kind of was like
his coming out party.
He's got his wings kind of thing, and it like we all knew Steph was nice, right? But over the course of that season, like, he started shooting and making some shots that we were like, yo, dog, like,
you're a little different.
This is getting out of control, man. Like, this is getting a little crazy now. Like, on some, what the wop? And you're like, okay, now it's starting to be routine. This is getting a little crazy. Yo, he shot, wop. And we're like, and shout out to Mark Jackson. He was the very first person who was in practice in Oakland. I'll never forget it. He said, Jack, they're the best shooting backcourt in the history of the game. Because we used to talk shop all the time. I'm like, really? And I've started. He said, take your time. Pick them up. Went down the list. And I'm like, I think this is Klay's like second year or third year maybe. So this is very early on. I'm like, yo, I think you're right, man. And they unbelievable to play with. But yes, I think Steph's 54-point night probably craziest one I've ever been a part of.
All right. So last segment, and it's called In My Bag, sponsored by Legionnaire.
Okay.
And it's travel time. So what are the three things whenever you're going on the road that you have to have with you?
Oh, am I working or am I not working?
You're working.
I'm working.
You're going with the Pistons.
Oh, okay.
You're on the plane.
My phone, laptop. Probably my iPad. I know the iPad and the laptop might sound the same, but I get to work on some my craft a little bit in the iPad.
Is there any, when you were a player, was there anything that was like, this is our go-to? Every player has to have this when you're traveling, when you're on the road.
Oh, something of travel?
Yeah.
Travel-wise? Probably headphones.
Headphones?
I think headphones probably, like, I still rock my music, of course, but as a player, you had to, I'm on the way to the game, zoned out with my music, or I'm on the plane and after the game, whatever. I think probably headphones was the deal.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. You're our second guest ever. It was a great episode.
Has any of them shed tears other than me?
No, but now I'm expecting it. Now I'm expecting it. If I don't get it, I'm like, we need to film this again.
I can't believe I did that, man. Unbelievable.
No, it's all good, man. It shows your heart. It shows how much you care.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just rock with folks, man. That's just what it is with me. No gray area in between.
Hey, I respect it. I respect it. But thank you again for coming, and thank you all for watching. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Appreciate y'all, man.